Hi, it's Tony Robbins. Listen, I'm reaching out to you today because it's no surprise that so many people today have a great deal of uncertainty about where life, the world, the economy is going. We're going through massive changes, and some of them are unprecedented. We haven't seen for 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years. And yet at the same time, we inherently know that with all this change, there's opportunity, that there's a chance for our lives to be better than they've ever been. The transformations that are happening in science and technology can truly change the quality of our lives, the length of our lives, the way we experience life. And yet, day to day, most people live, I think, with a great deal of foreboding, a great deal of uncertainty. And so I thought it might be nice to just drop in for a couple of minutes and give you a couple of triggers to remind you what I know you know in your heart. And that is, we are not made to survive, we're made to thrive. Human beings, our spirit, our capacity to adapt, our ability to grow, our ability to learn with lightning-like speed, our ability to find a way to serve others, that calling inside of us that we have as a parent or as a friend or someone who truly cares, when we put our fear aside because there's something we want to serve greater than ourselves, we all have that ability to find that passion in our life. And as we now are in 2014, a lot of people start out with a new year and it becomes a trigger for the possibility of a new life. But that disappears after a few disappointments, after coming up with a few New Year's resolutions that within a week or two they've already broken. I'm here to talk to you about just the simple core of what you and I are made for. We are not made to survive. We're not made to manage our pain or get through it. We're made to be creators of our lives. We can create anything we can dream about, we can create. And I know that sounds like positive thinking, just BS. But in your soul, there have been times in your life, I know, when you've had something that you wanted so much. Maybe you wanted something for someone you care about. Maybe you wanted something for yourself. But you became so obsessed with something, achieving it, experiencing it, whether it was a transformation, in yourself, a change in your business, making a certain amount of money, getting a job, increase of some position increase. Maybe it was doing something for your mom or your dad or your kids. Somewhere in your life, you've gotten obsessed enough to really want to create something that you may not even know how you were going to do it, but you just wanted it, desired it, that you started all of a sudden taking action and you got insights. And before you knew it, what used to be just this impossible dream became a reality. Is it fair to say that at some stage in your life that there are some things today in your life that were once just a dream or a goal, that once seemed difficult or impossible, whether it be the job you have or the relationship you're in and might be taking for granted? Is there anything in your life today that was once like that? Well, then you and I are creators. And very often when we get overwhelmed by so many things that we feel out of control by, we start getting into being managers of our life, managing our pain, managing through the situation. So my purpose here is to say, what does it take to thrive once again? So let me give you 5 quick keys. Number 1 key to thriving is you've got to allow yourself to be able to take advantage of uncertainty. Yes, the world is uncertain right now. Uncertainty is change. Change is life. We both know that. We all know that. But if you and I are going to become masters, we have to understand that we don't have to work on change. Change is automatic. Progress is not. If you and I are going to make progress here in 2014, whatever stage of the year you're looking at this, progress comes when you tell yourself the truth and you're able to feel the uncertainty and take action anyway. The thing that stops us all is fear. It's no surprise. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown, fear of not looking good. And that fear we could translate into the simple thing of uncertainty. Now, when you look at someone who's incredibly successful, you look at someone who's truly a leader in their life or in their field, the one thing they have in common is they exude this sense of certainty. Now, where's that come from? Is it inborn? Are they lucky? Are things just going their way? No, great leaders know how to step in the uncertainty and bring the certainty to the situation. Most people in life, we really feel like the level of stress in our life comes to how much of life do you feel like you control, or how much does life control you? Do you tend to control more of what's going on, or events controlling you? It's very easy to have those events start to take control unless we take control of what's between our ears, our own mind. You see, what you and I focus on massively affects how we feel, whether we're thriving or surviving. If you focus on what you can't control, if you focus on the past, if you focus on what's missing from your life constantly, that pattern of focus will make you frustrated, overwhelmed, depressed. It won't even matter if you're, taking antidepressants. If you keep focusing on what you can't control, what's missing from your life, you're going to feel depressed still. You can take as many antidepressants as you want. Focus equals power. If you want to thrive, you got to focus on what you can control. You got to focus on the difference you can make. You got to focus on what's already in your life that you're grateful for. And I have a little process here at the end that's my gift to you, which is just a simple ritual that can bring you back to this place. So one thing that leaders do is they focus on the things they want, they focus on what they can control, they focus on what they have. They have a combination of gratitude, strength, and commitment. They really unleash the second element. They have a vision. They have something that they're after, something they want to create, something they want to contribute, something they want to give, something they want to make happen. And that's when you become a creator again instead of a manager of life. And it's easy to lose that sense of vision in your life through disappointments. Hey, we've all had them. You get all excited about something and then, life seems to crush it. Somebody betrays you. You betray yourself. You don't follow through, and then you don't trust yourself at the same level. What makes somebody a leader is they build this certainty, and not only with focus, not only do they get a vision for what they want, but they bring that certainty in their body. Listen, if you've ever been to one of my live events, you know that one of the greatest things about, let's say, Unleash the Power Within is you go through a weekend where you literally train your nervous system to have certainty. I mean, how the heck do we get people to storm through fire? It's not about firewalking. It's about getting yourself to be able to take action in the areas of your life that normally you would more than hold back, where your brain would take over and say, I can't do this, are you crazy? Somebody else did it, but not me. What we do is get people in a state where you're going to follow through, where you're going to face your fear and do it anyway. And the way we do that, besides changing people's focus, showing you how to direct and control that focus, is also by learning how to use your body as the tool to change your state. Listen, if I drop my shoulders enough, if I were to breathe shallow enough, if I were to slow down and say, I don't know, I'll give it a try, and go into this state, I'd be like Samson getting his hair cut off, right? Because what we don't realize is that our mind is directly affected by the way we use our body. If you change the tempo in which you move, if you change the way you breathe, if you change the way you use your voice, you literally change your biochemistry. And the one thing that you'll see that's the same with the greatest golfer in the world, or the greatest musician, or the greatest actor, is they have this sense of certainty, and it isn't born. It's something that you make as a habit. You drill it into yourself. I sure as heck didn't have that sense of certainty growing up, not even close. And what I found myself doing early on is I felt so uncertain, I couldn't get myself to do anything. So I developed these rituals of certainty. I would go on these runs, and on the run, even though I didn't feel like it, I would do these incantations where I would say out loud over and over again, God's wealth is circulating in my life. His wealth flows to me in avalanches of abundance. All my needs, desires, and goals are met instantaneously by infinite intelligence. For I'm one with God, and God is everything. And I would say that over and over and over for 30 minutes. Just crazy. And I would envision that God's circulating, His wealth circulating my life, and I'd see the wealth of love and friendship and impact and growth and economics and all these things, physical fitness and aliveness. I'd see this wealth of abundance flowing, oceans of it, into my life as I went and did these things. If you envision something clearly enough and you bring certainty to it over and over again, if you engage your physical body in a simple ritual, it could be as little as 10 minutes a day. I call it my hour of power, or 15 minutes to be fulfilled. And all you do is you take 5 minutes, and in those first 5 minutes, you get yourself moving, and you get yourself in a state of certainty in the way you move and the way you breathe. You focus on what you're excited about in your life. You focus on what you want to create, what you want to bring to your children, what you want to bring to the world. And it changes your state. We all know what happens when you're out of state. When you're burnt out, when you're frustrated, when you're overwhelmed. You snap at people sometimes, feel bad about it. You didn't mean to. It's just the state you're in. So to thrive this year, take uncertainty and bring certainty to it. To thrive this year, get what I call a compelling future. Pick anything, a goal, a dream, a desire, something that excites you so much that you're going to feel yourself compelled to actually find a way to make it happen. You've done it before. You've gotten obsessed. You don't even know how you did it, but things happen and you got yourself to where you want to be. Let's make that happen this year, right now. Regardless if it's later in the year or the beginning of the year you're watching this, I made this so that hopefully I'd remind you of what you know, that you're made to thrive, not survive. What's the third element that makes somebody an effective leader, makes them a thriver, even when the environment is crazy? Well, they bring certainty to uncertainty. That's leadership skill, by focus and physiology. By the way they move, by the way they breathe, by what they do. They bring that certainty because there's something they want so bad that it makes them overcome the fear. They focus on what they want to create, what they want to give, not, oh my God, what if I fail? But the third thing they do is they're decisive. Listen, nothing changes your life like decision. I mean real decision though. Not where people go, well, I'll try, or I kind of decided I want to give this a shot. The word decision comes from incision in Latin, to cut off from. And when you make a decision, you cut off from any possibility except the thing you've committed to. As I always tell people, if you want to take the island, burn the boats. I mean, if you make a real decision, every bit of you is committed to something, it's amazing how life will move for the force of nature of a human being, man or woman, that says, this is how it will be. I don't know how I'm going to get it done, but I know this is what I'm going to do. I know why I'm going to do it. It was Martin Luther King who said, it's a man, any man who hasn't figured out what he's willing to die for isn't fit to live. If you can find something you're so excited about, if you can find something that will drive you with that certainty, and you add to that decisiveness, you can change anything. You don't like your job, change it. You go, oh, but there's no jobs out there. Bull, right? Change it, start the job, change who you are in the job where you are, and enjoy yourself. Change your perception, change your appreciation, change your gratitude, change your daily rituals so you start to enjoy things, change what you notice. Change from trying to get something to trying to give something. The whole game will change. Decisiveness is the ability to make a decision even though you're uncertain once again. What keeps people from making a decision? Fear of failure. I remember I had a chance to get to know General Norman Schwarzkopf during the time in which he was commanding our forces, an amazing man. And he would step over there in Desert Storm, as they called it in those days, and he could command a guy that was just brilliant. You know, an officer who came out of, Harvard or background at Princeton, and he could take a kid from the inner city and just have that same command and connection with them. And I think part of what they respected about him is he respected everyone himself. He had this connection with people. But the other thing everybody respected was the man was decisive. And I asked him where he developed that decision-making capability, just the willingness to just make a decision and trust. And he said, Tony, I'll tell you where. I worked for this general when I was very young. And I was his assistant. And he said, I remember there was a research project that the Pentagon had worked on for that time. He said, if I remember right, like 5 years. And there were arguments. It was a very strategic decision for where the Defense Department was going to move towards in the future, how they were going to operate. And he said there were arguments for both sides. And for 5 years, they'd gone back and forth, and nothing was resolved. And they came to the general that he was serving at that time as the assistant. And they had a meeting, and the meeting lasted 1 hour, and at the end of the hour, the general stood up and said, do that. And he picked one of the two, and he did it with absolute certainty. And in the military, you salute, and you take your orders, and you go. He said, but Schwarzkopf said he was just curious, really curious, to know, how could he get up and make a decision like that? Because Schwarzkopf said, I